It is indeed a good time to expand your heart-centered energies, my friends, and keep in mind that view of Earth as though you are an astronaut. See the Earth as a beautiful ball of light and give it all the love that you can. Hi everyone, it's Heather from True North Spirit Medicine. How are you going today? I hope you're doing well and that you're not just surviving but thriving in these interesting times, shall we say. I just have one thing I want to say about the current, planetary alignments, astrology, astronomy, and what's going on in the world right now. And it's an insight that I haven't actually heard anyone else say, but it popped into my mind. I was on the train going to college and I was listening to, I think it was Kari Samuels. It was probably either Kari Samuels or Pam Gregory. And they were talking about the Aries energy and how there's a lot of Aries energy and something or other's in Mars and something or other's in air. And, that sort of the old, I want to say the old-fashioned interpretation of that astrological alignment has been, the potential for war or the potential for conflict or that kind of stuff. And they were talking about, the Aries energy and how it's always sort of been described as, active, sure, but sort of aggressive as well. Aries is the first sign in the Chinese zodiac, and it's the I am, I am right, I am, you think of a ram, battering ram, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I was listening to one of those two, highly respected, very intelligent, very knowledgeable women on the train the other week, and it suddenly dropped in about, I was just thinking about sheep, because a ram is a sheep. And sheep give us wool, and wool is soft and fluffy. And I was like, I have never heard anybody talk about the soft side of Aries. There's obviously got to be one, because there's a yin and a yang and an up and a down and a left and a right and a dark and a light and a balance to everything. So there obviously has to be a feminine side to the masculine ram, I guess is what I'm meaning. When we make fluffy woolly jumpers out of wool, and that comes from rams, and why aren't we embracing the softer side of the Aries energy at the moment? So that was the first thing. I wrote it on a note so I wouldn't forget to tell you. And the second thing is they were talking about something like, the air energy and the fire energy, so fire horse and all the rest of it, and how, air feeds fire and it can be really fiery and dramatic and yada, yada, yada. I'm Gemini, so I'm air, right? And a long time ago, someone suggested that you could think about the elements as you would in nature. So air and water, for example, and everything has a plus and a minus, or, air and water. So if you've got water with not enough air, think of like a stagnant pond where there's no life and sort of green, yucky algae and not much lives and grows. But if you've got water with enough air, you've got this lovely balanced, bubbling brook, stream in the forest. Things can thrive, you can drink it because it's nice and fresh and healthy. If you have too much air and water, you might have something like a tidal wave or whatever. I know tidal waves are caused by the movement of the earth, but you get the idea, choppy winds and, choppy waves and dangerous seas or whatever, right? Anyway, so I was thinking about air and fire and how all of these people are just talking about air and fire, air and fire, air and fire, air and fire means too much fire. And I'm like, but air can blow out fire, right? So if you've got a birthday cake with candles on it, if I add air to the flame, I'm going to blow it out, right? Obviously air can feed fire, and fire needs air. So if you starve a flame of oxygen, it will extinguish. Or if you have too much air, too much oxygen, the flame will extinguish, right? So then I was thinking, what if we think of love, highest, strongest force in the universe, as being like air? And there are elements of fiery energy, shall we say, around at the moment that are trying to pull us down and make us dark and, you know, whatever, but you know what I mean. So why can't we effectively blow, in inverted commas, love energy, air, in that direction with enough, I was going to say force, but it's power, it's inner power, isn't it? It's not angry, aggressive force, because that is the negative side of Aries and fire. But I want us to think of it like love, so emanating from a heart space. So if we bombard ourselves, our loved ones, our planet, our troubled spots with love energy, then it's going to extinguish the energy that's not love. That makes sense, right? I've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks. And I particularly like the fluffy wool, you know, fluffy wool jumper of the Aries energy, the feminine side, the softer side of the ram. Yeah. Anyway, so I guess the point is, try not to get caught up in any of those narratives that are sort of trying to steer us in that direction, even if the people who are doing the steering have good intentions. Yeah. I started to listen to a podcast, YouTube video, whatever it was, the other day, and it was Baron-Reid and I forget her name, an astrologer lady, and I didn't listen to all of it. I didn't have the time, and I haven't gone back to it yet, but they were the only ones in, you know, the first 5 minutes of this video that were talking about the Aries fire air energy with a positive slant. Everybody else has kind of gone, oh, this doesn't bode well. So there are others who know a lot more about it than I do, that are looking for the, you know, the silver linings around this current situation. But yeah, I just thought those kind of two insights about the fluffy jumper and how air has power in this situation has been quite important to convey. Food for thought, anyway. So I've got 2 decks in front of me, and I felt again like the really light decks, so I just asked for guidance on those, and I've got, the first one is Work Your Light Oracle Cards by Rebecca Campbell, artwork by Danielle Knoll. Definitely used this with you before. And the Green Witch Oracle by Cheralyn Darcey, artwork by somebody who's not on the front of the box, but I'll put it in the description below. I've used this deck with you before, but I don't think for a little while. So again, I'll do the channel-y bit, which I'm excited about, and draw some cards and see what they've got to say. No, I'll draw the cards first. And I got a reminder about the merchy stuff, the things for sale. So there's a plant communication course that I've created. I like it. It's good. Everything that I'm about to talk about is in the description box below, the links to everything, and the links to everything are on my website as well. I've got a couple of meditations, she says, holding up 3 fingers. The spirit guide meditation, upgrade your energy meditation, and a chakra balance meditation. Great time to get into your practice, or to revive or rekindle, or continue your meditation practice, and then send the extra love energy out in the world to where it's needed to be. Still doing readings, still doing Reiki, got a bunch of merch, Threadbubble and Threadless. And the Oracle card deck is still in progress. Actually, yesterday, because I'm on holidays from college, I went back to my usual Tuesday art group studio session. And while I was there, I finished another one of the Oracle card decks. Yay! I mean, Oracle deck cards. So that's exciting. I'd love to be able to share them with you, but there's a lot of information on the internet at the moment about, you know, AI and people being very sort of dastardly in stealing digital images and using them for other means. So I'm quite hesitant to share much of what I'm creating at the moment until I figure out how to do that and not have it stolen, basically. But yes, exciting. Okay, I'll draw some cards and then I'll do the channel. And drink some tea. Where would it be without tea? Okay, so again, I've cleared the deck and I ask for the best, most interesting, useful, practical, helpful, loving guidance for the people watching, which is you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing and following along. It's very nice. I like it. Thank you. I've done something weird to the camera. I had trouble setting up the camera this morning. Everything was all a bit wonky. And somehow I've managed to turn on a setting which I think it's like a, what do they call it? A spirit level, you know, where it shows you where it's balanced, but I can't really see my face or the cards or anything. All I can see is, it looks like I'm a fighter pilot with those like crosshairs or something. It's a bit disconcerting. And the other thing that's weird that you might not know if you don't film and upload stuff is when I'm filming this, like the camera's kind of far away, so I can't really see that closely what's going on. But then when I upload it into the software and then onto YouTube, it's actually closer than it is. So I don't know, sometimes it's a bit weird. So I can't, anyway, yeah. I'll stop talking and they're choosing themselves. That one jumped out of me. Oh, that's nice. It's called The Great Gathering. So again, we'll get to the, oh nice. We'll get to the cards as we go along. So I've got Great Gathering and Keepers of the Earth, which is quite, I was going to say fortuitous. It's fortuitous, but it's quite, you know, whatever the word is that means good timing. My brain's not, it's very hot here. It's unseasonably hot. So they're predicting 33 degrees Celsius, and it's the beginning of autumn. So it's, and yesterday was like 32 or something. So it's actually quite warm. I'm in the subtropics. So in summer, it's not an unusual temperature, but it's kind of unusual for this time of year. So again, blame everything on the heat. The brain doesn't work properly. Anyway. Oh, nice. Regeneration. I wasn't sure whether to use this deck with you, the Greenwich Oracle one, because I asked for something light and, you know, light and bright for today. And it's full of plants and vegetables and herbs and fruits and stuff, and so at first I wasn't sure. So I shuffled and pulled one to ask if it was the correct deck to use, and I got the card, I forget the plant, but it had pink flowers, and it said happiness, and I was like, oh good, that's nice. And then I opened the deck just at a random spot to sort of double check, and the next card that I got, double checking that it was the card to use with you today, is the same card I've just drawn. So I've got 2 Work Your Light and 2 Greenwich Oracles, and the second Greenwich Oracle is Geranium, and it's healing. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to put the cards, I'll put them on this table behind me. Yeah, exciting. And I did check, so sometimes I get information that pops in before I start filming. And so, you know, in the olden days when I started doing these videos, I'd have like a list of things to talk about and then we'd do the channel. But these days, sometimes usually when the information pops in day or so before or the day of filming, sometimes they'll be like, oh, you don't have to talk about it because we're going to talk about it in the channel. And the information about the fluffy wool and the, you know, air beats fire was popping in quite strongly yesterday and last night and this morning, so I wrote it down. And I checked in and I asked and they said, no, you talk about it first. So I guess that means it's not going to come up, or maybe they'll allude to it, but they didn't. They were like, we don't need to talk about it, you can talk about it. Does that make sense? I think so. Anyway, more tea. And then we'll see what they've got to say. I like that my teacup says love. Greetings, dear ones, and thank you once again for joining us here today. We are always, always, always thankful for your presence. You are great. We are grateful and graceful when you join us at this vast table of ours, full of all of the fruitful energy that you can imagine. You can imagine a feast, if you wish. Dishes of food for everybody. The table can be as big as you like, but there are plenty of us here, my dear ones, plenty of us here. There are a lot of ascended masters, as you would call us. There are a lot of the angelics, as you would call us. There are a lot of other visitors, shall we say, that come to sit at this table constantly with us. You know our hearts, my friends, you know our hearts. We come with love, we come with benevolence. We come with clear and relevant guidance for you in these days on your earth. For we have the eagle's perch view, as you would say. We can see, like your astronauts have seen the earth from afar, this beautiful green blue ball of life spinning through the cosmos, which with the beautiful glow around it, which is the collective energies of you and Gaia, expanded infinitely into the energies of the universe by your hearts, my friends, by your hearts. It is indeed a good time to reconnect through your meditations with us. It is indeed a good time to expand your heart-centered energies, my friends. And keep in mind that view of Earth as though you are an astronaut. See the Earth as a beautiful ball of light and give it all the love that you can. You are the keepers of the earth, my friends, as this card says to us. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand behind you, and the card itself has many faces behind it with many wings. And you are both angelic and human, my friends. You have been these things. You have been your own ancestors. And part of the reason you are here now is to be a keeper of the earth, to tend to the soil in your little patch of garden, or weed the local park, or recycle your belongings so they do not end up in the ground or do not end up in the waterways. Remember also that you can bless your own water, my friends. You do not need to be a nun or a priest to do so. All you need do is perhaps place your hands around the glass or do your Reiki symbols over the water jug as you fill it from your tap. Fill it full of love, my friends. Fill it full of light and laughter and health and healing and joy. And then every glass you drink will be full of that energy. And as that water passes through your system and out into the earth, then that energy carries out into the earth. And there are many, many more of you, my friends, who wish for peace on earth than there are of the others. Many, many more. It is just another small way that you can help, my friends. And an easy one at that. I welcome the new love energy in, you might say, as you pour your glass of water. My water is healthy, wealthy, and wise, you might say, as you drink your glass of water. It is time, my friends, to gather together in greater numbers. This second card here is the Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits, soul, tribe. So you might gather online. You might sit and listen to a video such as this. You might meet up in person with like-minded souls. It might be a meditation group, might be a Tai Chi group, it might be a creative or artistic group, might be a group that does jigsaw puzzles together, but you are gathering together with love. You are gathering together for community. So the activity in some cases does not matter, my friends. What matters is the gathering together of the tribe. So whether you are at a festival dancing and prancing with the beats of the musicians and the bare earth under your feet, or whether you are baking scones with the CWA, or whether you are playing lawn bowls with the elders, it doesn't matter. What matters is the community, what matters is the heart, and what matters is your intention. And if you are the like-minded one with us, my friend, in those situations, remember that you can ask for the energy that has gathered to be sent to where it's needed on the earth and beyond. You can be the messenger for that. You can be the deliverer of that, even if the others at the scone bake or the puzzle club or the lawn bowls or the whatever gathering it is do not know of us. You can still, this is new information, my friends, you can still be the one that delivers the energy to us, delivers the energy to the earth, delivers the energy to the greater good of all in the universe. Think of yourselves as divine postal workers, postmen and postwomen, my friends. And what you are delivering is love, balance, calm within the chaos. Everything is on track. Doesn't look like it when you see it through the lens of the mainstream news. But that is their ploy. That is their ploy. Love is stronger than fear. It always has. It always has been, and it always will be. Love is stronger than fear. These two cards we will read together, Healing and Regeneration. It is Tarragon and Geranium. So as we come together in this great gathering and as we praise the earth as one with us, we are creating regeneration. We are creating new life. We are creating new ways of being, new ways of seeing, and indeed new ways of healing. The healing process that we each individually go through in order to be able to regenerate and transform ourselves is vast and profound, and it is the work of lifetimes. And the fact that you are here now, all of you are here now, and you have done this great cleansing of yourselves and your souls and the process that you still continue in some ways, but mostly have achieved some, we wish to say mastery in your meaning, but we do not wish that to be a gendered term, some accomplishment over your energies to this point. Otherwise you would not be sitting here listening to this, my friends. So do not think you are the only one who has not achieved some accomplishment over your energies, because you have. And that healing that you have done is causing the regeneration, my friends. The healing that you have done is causing the regeneration. You close one door, another opens. You ditch the old pair of shoes for a new pair of shoes, which allows you to walk a new pathway, my friends. You understand our metaphor. For we are all walking the same pathway back to home, and we are all walking this new pathway together. The old timelines are falling away and falling away and falling away and getting quite desperate in their measures of trying to pull us back to the old energy. So it is important, this is your homework for the month, it is important to stay the course. We may have said this last month as well, to hold your light, to keep that higher ideal in mind at all times, the world you wish to see, not the destruction that is happening in some places, the world that you wish to see. Compassionate action to those who are caught up in this. See them in joy and hope and laughter and continuing on into the future. See the pockets of the earth that you are custodians of, living on as healthy, fertile, fecund, joyful places of green delight, shall we say, in the forest of the cement, which are your cities. You can be the pocket of green delight in the forest of the negativity that seems to surround you, my friends. And when you connect with the other like-minded souls, you realize that there are millions of you, literally millions of you. And it is that part of the energy that you see when you are the astronauts from space is that collective heart energy, my friends. Have a look for the picture from the astronauts from just a day or so ago. They call it the Earth Glow. They have a name for it. We love that. And we love you. We thank you again for your presence here today. We wish you good speed in your heart-centered living and your love extinguishing fire. And we have your hands, we have your back, we hold your hands every step of the way. We love you, we cherish you, and we will talk to you again very soon. With very much love. And so it is. Haha. That feels all fluffy and light. It's nice. I hope you can feel the fluffy lightness too. It's like, what is it? Fairy floss. Fluffy and sweet and light. Or a woolly jumper made of lamb's wool. That's cute. Thank you. I'm going to leave it there because I've said everything and they've said everything. Really interesting cards. I like them. I'll insert them into the video and I will, excuse me, put them up on my Facebook and Instagram, usually a few days after I've recorded the video, and you can have a closer look at them there. And take good care of yourselves. Keep fighting the good fight, which is love. And I will talk to you again very soon. Take care. Much love. Bye.